everyone. Welcome to MAC Weekly. I'm Clementi. Of all the MAC games played on Saturday, there is one that truly stands out. Although Akron did not take home the W, the come-from-behind near victory against number 11 Michigan in Ann Arbor is sure to be the most talked about game in the MAC. Akron has struggled in the last few years, especially on the road, so no one could have predicted that this is how the game would transpire. After a single field goal and a second quarter shutout by both teams, the Zips would take the third quarter lead 10-7 on a Kyle Pohl to Zach DiOrzio 28-yard touchdown. Michigan would respond with 14 unanswered points. The Zips, feeling the pressure, waste no time. First play of the fourth, and it's Justin March with the pick. Minutes later, it's Pohl to Tyrell Goodman for the 24-21 lead. Again, Michigan would fight its way back to take a 28-24 advantage. With 2:49 remaining, Akron drives from its own 25 to the Michigan 2. The historic win is in Akron's reach, but time would expire and the score would stand. Akron falls to Michigan 28-24. 100,000 spectators were witness to Akron's incredible game. Pohl finished with 25 of 49 passing for 311 yards and 2 touchdowns. Bowling Green took their 2-0 record on the road to face Indiana. Falcons linebacker Paul Sand would be in the right place at the right time.
They come after it, and it's a block punt for Bowling Green, and one that's going to go all the way to the end zone.
Sand would tie the score late in the first, but Indiana would pull away in the second half for the 42-10 win. Wide receivers Chris Gallen and Sean Zomplin combined for 184 receiving yards on 15 receptions. Eastern Michigan entered the second quarter trailing Rutgers 14-3, but the rest of the half belonged to the Eagles. Ryan Brumfeld took the snap, lateraled the ball to quarterback Tyler Benz on the left side of the field. Benz would pass it back to Brumfield, who would take it home for the score. All he had to do was avoid a single tackle, and it's a 4-point gain. In the end, Eastern Michigan would drop the 28-10 decision to Rutgers. Offensively, EMU owned the air, outpassing Rutgers by 246 yards. Buffalo faced FCS opponent Stony Brook in its home opener at UB Stadium. The Bulls played smart, capitalizing on the Sea-Wolves turnovers. The second and Anthony Taylor 1-yard rush for a 10-0 score. But the fourth quarter would belong to Stony Brook, as it would tie the game at 24 seconds. This game was heading into overtime not once, not twice, not even 3 times. A school record 5th overtime to end with this.
Taylor will cut inside the 5. He's into the end zone for the Buffalo win.
Anthony Taylor rushed for a career best 118 yards and 2 touchdowns, including the game winner to help the Bulls to their first win of the season. Ball State could do no wrong against North Texas. Willie Snead scored in the first 4 minutes of the game. Horatio Banks would bring it home for a 77-yarder, followed by Brian Jones taking full advantage of a mean green fumble.
Antoine Jefferson, he fumbles, and this will be a defensive touchdown for Ball State.
Snead would get his second of the day on a 27-yard pass from Keith Wenning for a 27-16 lead at the half. From there, North Texas would put the brakes on the Cardinals. Ball State takes their first loss of the season, 34-27. Northern Illinois, fresh off their bye week, took Idaho's Kibbie Dome by storm. QB Jordan Lynch would show he's got game in the air and on the ground. He scored 3 touchdowns on 152 yards passing, while leading his team on the ground with 157 rushing yards for 2 scores. And how about the defense? A program best 11 quarterback sacks, with 7 occurring in the second half. Northern Illinois captured the W 45-35 on the road versus Idaho. It was a rough start for Toledo as Eastern Washington quickly put 14 on the board, and QB Terrence Owens was carted off the field not to return. True freshman Logan Woodside would fill his shoes, and that he did.
Woodside will throw down the middle of the field, caught by Reedy. That's going to go for a touchdown. Big play for the Rockets.
It's 23-14 Rockets. The Eagles would get within 2 after they opened the fourth with a 19-yard touchdown, but the Rockets reciprocated with a score of their own. Toledo earns its first win of the season after defeating Eastern Washington 33-21. Toledo's defense had a stellar overall performance. The Eagles, ranked number 2 in the FBS, collected 234 yards under their average, while EWU's running game racked up just 51 yards on 22 attempts. Battle for the bell as Ohio fought for its 3rd consecutive win over rival Marshall. The Thundering Herd was plagued by mistakes that the Cats would capitalize on.
A turnable kick here for Butler, but he lets it bounce. Still loose. Butler loses it again. Still loose. Touchdown!
In the fourth, Ohio extends its lead to 31-17, but Marshall came right back as Rakeem Cato threw a 38-yard touchdown to Gator Hoskins. That comfy lead is cut to 7 as Ohio is forced to punt on the ensuing drive, but it's Devin Bass with the interception on the next play. That leads to a field goal which would essentially seal the win for Ohio, 34-31. The Cats hold on to the bell for 3 straight years, the longest in school history since 1980. Tyler Tettleton threw for 264 yards and a touchdown, while Bo Blankenship rushed for 2 scores. UMass took to the road to face Kansas State. The Wildcats were the first to score, but the Minutemen would take the 7-6 lead on a 5-play touchdown drive. Joe Colton would complete the first quarter with a Wildcat sack, but Kansas State showed no mercy for the remainder of the game, defeating UMass 37-7. Kent State took to the road to battle number 8 LSU. Although the Golden Flashes managed only 1 touchdown in the game, it did come from redshirt freshman Colin Reardon, who took to the ground. This marked his 3rd straight game without an interception, going 20 of 29 for 190 yards. Showing no favoritism, he passed to 10 different Kent State players, including Josh Boyle, who led the Flashes with 53 yards on 3 receptions. Defensively, KSU sustained several drives into Tigers territory. It was a tale of 2 halves for Central Michigan and UNLV. The Chippewas could not be stopped in the first as they scored 3 touchdowns to take a 21-0 lead. But UNLV would make their mission known as they went on to score 31 unanswered points for the 31-21 win over Central Michigan. Western Michigan falls to ranked opponent Northwestern 37-17. Van Tubergen led the offense with 202 passing yards for 2 scores and an interception. MAC play continues on Saturday, September 21st with 10 games. Thanks for joining me on MAC Weekly. I'll see you next week as the action continues.